Podquest.
Did you know it's World Book and Copyright Day?
Finally, a day just for me. A lot of people might not know this, Neal. You do. It's a little behind the scenes lore.
Sure. Mythologies, right?
I've spent this entire podcast trapped inside of a magical book.
The World Book?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, not one of the volumes. We're not talking about the encyclopedia. We're talking about the World Book.
World Book. Like, you ever watch SpongeBob ever?
Uh-huh.
And do you recall that scene where he has to write a paper, and instead of doing that, he writes this really elaborate with like ornate medieval kind of gilding?
I think that
and emphasis.
I think that I missed that. That's not my era of SpongeBob.
That is the at the beginning of the World Book, within which I have been doomed to rot for years at this point. So we have universally been keeping touch through a book,
right?
A magical book,
the Tao Te Ching, if you will, from the Malibu Comics.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's just like that. It's a lot of people won't tell you this because they're cowards and they're frauds. But oh gosh, I need to get his name right now before I tell the joke. Charles Marshall, it's the comic book guy, right?
Yeah.
He's in here.
He's in the book with you.
Yeah.
And then Sean Catherine Derrick's in the ebook version.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Kindle edition.
Yeah.
Of the World Book
On the blockchain, right.
Oh, I just like physically shuddered at you saying on the blockchain, like just genuinely. I feel like I haven't heard that in so long. I'm gonna also really, if you've got a second, do you have a second to look at a SpongeBob GIF?
Yeah, because I searched SpongeBob and got nothing.
Oh, I can help you. Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, so he's writing.
Sure, stabbing the paper, sweating.
The
pencil's
on fire.
Literally smoking. That pencil.
Let's see how it looks so far.
That
is such a good reveal, man.
That's a good SpongeBob bit. That is.
Shout out to the Sponge Man.
Shout out to SpongeBob, as I call him, to annoy people.
Now, so I'm trapped inside of a magical book. We've established that.
Sure. Much this is well. Let's go with your thing.
Were we both about to do a segue?
Probably. We're gonna talk about Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Okay. Do you know what else has a lot of magic in it?
Not just magic, but a literal magical book as well.
Oh, was that segue even better than I thought it was?
Yeah. The 1996 CBS ABC
a crossover?
Sitcom.
A network crossover?
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think what happened was it started on ABC and then went to CBS. Oh, no, it started on ABC and then went to the WB, but I believe CBS Studios produced the series.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it is. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is our show, of course. We talk about Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
This is famously our show that
constantly,
we make it.
And this you all know the name of this podcast is MK Podquest, the Teenage Witch. That's what we're going with for this one.
DJ Sabrina the Teenage DJ.
Yes, a reference
type beat
specifically to DJ Sabrina the Teenage DJ. Should we be MK Podquest, the Teenage MK Podquest for this one?
Sure.
All right, that's what the art will
I'm fine
say.
with that.
Yeah, we're doing it. Finally. I've been threatening. I've been shoehorning in Sabrina references for the entire run of the series. I even brought it up in the Talkin' Taven episode. Someone gave us money on ko-fi.com/mkpodquest for me to do a hour-long live stream about Sabrina comics. I did that. I believe you can find that video at ko-fi.com/mkpodquest. You can just go see it there. You don't have to give us money. But while you're there, give us some fucking money, right?
If you want to, yeah.
Just give us some money. Because I had to spend some money to do this episode so I could get you the episode that we had to watch.
You did have to do that.
I did buy the complete series, all 7 seasons of Sabrina the Teenage Witch on DVD in just the most impractical case ever imagined. we've seen these things, right? People have seen these. I sent you the photo of this one like super thick DVD. Dare I say it's as thick as a book, this DVD case with I don't know how many discs. 4 per season and 7 seasons. I'm not going to do that math. It's a lot of fucking discs to cram into one case. They did it somehow. The only thing I can think of is they used magic. And everything just fell over. Did you just
drop them all?
No, I dropped my Switch controller. Yeah, I had to order this box set off of Amazon. And I just want to talk about Amazon for a quick second here, Corey.
Uh-huh.
You know, they offer overnight shipping for free for a lot of things if you're a Prime member. Sometimes that's super handy, right?
Depending on where you live, yes.
Sure. In my region, we can get sometimes same day, sometimes overnight.
I have never lived somewhere where same day was available, but I remember hearing people talk about it and thinking that was just go to a store. At that point, go to a fucking store. Right. The thing that you want to do is go shopping. Like, just go out.
I'm not here to defend their practices by any means.
That's good.
It was nice when I needed a cell phone because I was going out of town to find a good deal on a cell phone and have it delivered at 8 a.m. the next day. That's a moment where I was like grateful for Amazon one day overnight shipping, right?
Grateful for Jeff.
Amazon, I don't think Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the complete series, is the kind of thing that you need to get to me in one day like you did when I ordered this thing.
Rush shipping.
I had it.
What's crazy, too, it came from Spain.
Less than 24 hours after I ordered it, it was here.
From Spain, no less.
From Spain. And I ordered it. Here's the other
overseas
upsetting thing is I ordered it on a Sunday. So somebody was working on that shit right away.
Yeah, a lot of people had to work to really make that happen.
Some of this stuff can wait. I apologize to the underpaid Amazon workers out there who had to get this Sabrina box set to me overnight. I didn't select one day shipping on purpose, I promise you. In fact, I usually avoid it because it just feels like, what's the rush, right?
Well, the rush is we got a podcast to make.
But the rush is we have to talk about this TV series. Fucking finally.
Yeah, go off. Just let it all out, man.
And why are we talking about this episode in particular? Season 1, episode 10, Sweet and Sour Victory.
Man, that probably peaked like crazy. I got really close there. That was whoops.
That was wild.
None other than everybody's favorite Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa. Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa is in the episode.
He's in this fucking episode. Shang Tsung, right? Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 95, a year before this movie came out, or before this TV episode came out, mind you. Mortal Kombat Legacy, right? Season 2, he reprises the role. Mortal Kombat 11, he's in the game. The character looks like him. He's doing the voice. Shang Tsung, the definitive Shang Tsung, that's not named Bruce Locke, is in this season 1 episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Dude was in Raven also, right? Pilot of Raven.
And he's barely in this.
And he's barely in. He's in this. Well, he's not a main character, but he is barely in this.
But that's reason enough for us.
It is reason enough. I feel like Sabrina's come up enough that we can discuss him. It is interesting that he would do this. Just he must have walked off the set of Mortal Kombat and onto the set of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I don't know really what their scheduling is like, but it is kind of wild to me. I'm looking at his IMDb page. Okay, so he did Mortal Kombat. Then he does have a shit ton of other credits between Mortal Kombat and this episode of Sabrina, including something called Soldier Boys.
Crank that.
An episode of Babylon 5.
Crank that.
Another TV series called A Peaceable Kingdom. It looks like a movie called White Tiger. He was in The Phantom with Billy Zane.
With William Zane.
With the William Zane. He was
the titular William Zane.
I don't know if he was slamming evil in that or if he was the evil who was being slammed, but he was in that movie as the great Kabai sang. I haven't seen that movie, I don't think. Or if I have, it's not since I was a child. Then he does an episode of the TV series Sybil, starring Sybil Shepherd, an episode of Nash Bridges, and then bam, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, followed by the video game adaptation of Soldier Boys. That's not a joke.
I didn't think it was. It was in such high demand. The people were frothing at the mouth for Soldier Boys.
Cary Tagawa's had such a fascinating career as a character actor. Is it fair to call him a character actor?
I suppose.
He's in Balls of
To be honest,
Fury.
I've never really been able to discern what that term means when somebody uses it. I don't know if you get what I mean, but like
I do.
To different people, that term seems to mean different things.
Well, like
so, like I never totally know what someone is attempting to say when they say character actor, other than they're not the lead.
I guess, yeah, character actors maybe is not him, because I mean he plays a lot of villains. The term I usually hear thrown around is like people who play like you hire them because they're like an interesting presence and they can play like kind of a weird character in a series.
I don't know if he's quite that, but he
does have like a string of being. I mean, he's the Japanese villain in just so many movies, right? Showdown in Little Tokyo. I presume Soldier Boys. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Showdown in Little Tokyo, I presume. That's my joke for that.
Balls of Fury, he's mysterious Asian man. Like he's
bad credit.
Maybe typecast is a more accurate description, because he was certainly typecast in this episode of Sabrina, right?
Yeah. Well, it's simultaneously typecast and a guy who can do the thing they were asking for. It's a difficult proposition of like he's both typecast and qualified.
He's carved out a niche for himself. Is that fair to say?
Probably.
Yeah. And we all love him. He's really good at what he does, and always charismatic and fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's on this episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So I need to ask you a question, Neal.
Sure. You want to get some of this lore out of the way? Because I think we should go classic format with this, with a Corey Corner and a Neal Nook.
I mean, I can do a Corey Corner, but it'll be brisk.
Good. That's fine.
Because I don't know anybody's name other than Sabrina.
Uh-huh.
And not a lot happens in this episode.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and like, Sabrina?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Melissa Jones Sabrina?
Right.
Is she the one playing Sabrina?
Yeah, close enough.
Melissa Joan Hart?
Yes, it is. Melissa Joan Hart plays Sabrina
Great.
Spellman. So do you want to do some lore beforehand and then go into the Corey Corner?
I was going to suggest that, but I almost think the funnier answer is no.
Okay, well, let's just go into the Corey Corner.
Welcome to the Corey Corner. So I'm not going to learn anything about the show, but I wanted to have a handful of actor names in front of me just in case. So we've got the opening of this episode is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So this episode starts and Sabrina is playing badminton with Boy.
Harvey.
Harvey
Kinkle.
And no.
Harvey fucking Kinkle. That's a classic.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's a classic.
No.
That's a classic name from the comics.
Oh right. Yeah, from the comics. Dude, you saying that just made me realize that like ostensibly this character and the Kiernan Shipka show are the same person.
They are.
Like, and it's like you took two very different tonal approaches to this material.
Yes.
You just made me realize that right now.
That Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is another adaptation of the Sabrina character. Yeah.
Moreover, that this show is also those things.
Okay, fair. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
So she's playing badminton. She's not good at it.
No.
There's birdies everywhere.
Stuck
she can't get it to work.
Piles of them on the floor. There's just 1,000 of them in this room.
She accidentally throws her racket at
Harvey.
Thank you. And that's it for the opening. Then it cuts to the fastest intro of all time.
Yeah.
They don't really have a theme song more than they have like an outfit montage.
Sure.
With some really bold font choices.
Yep.
And then now we're screaming about calcium, right?
Yeah, she's in class.
and I'm not going to be this thorough the entire time, but my note literally says, here's our opening bit about sports, then the fastest intro of all time. Now we're screaming about calcium.
Sure. She's in science class with her teacher, Mr. Poole.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Poole.
You want to hear a terrible joke? This is the show. His name is Eugene Poole, as in Gene Poole, and he's a biology teacher.
I don't know if that's a good joke even.
The Gene Poole, right?
No, I get it.
I didn't say I said it was a bad I said it was a bad joke.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced it's a good one.
A good bad joke.
So he is teaching them about calcium, and then class ends, and like every good teacher in a show, he doesn't try to give them homework until everybody's already leaving. Sabrina leaves the class and gets jump scared by Harvey now that we have entered action movie camera mode, where it's like a handheld following the most needless shot of all time of just like making it like the cameraman is like walking, has to like take a turn. Like it feels very like intentional, and it's a really weird choice. But anyway, he discovers that there's kung fu classes
as a PE
elective. Yeah, absolutely. And the easy sports aren't working out, but they're like, maybe you can do kung fu. And she goes home and tells her aunts.
Her aunts, yes.
Yeah, that I watched this today. Tells her aunts that she's gonna do kung fu, and they're like, sick. Okay, great. I'm gonna keep learning how to play the violin so I can go dunk on this other random guy.
Sure.
And then Sabrina goes to kung fu class, and the reveal is that Eugene Poole is the kung fu master that will be teaching them kung fu today.
Right.
She decides almost immediately that instead of learning a new skill, she is going to just use magic and beat the teacher. And then because she does that, everybody's like, wow, you're a natural. I don't know why people assume that when she goes from basically not knowing what it is to being able to like throw people over her shoulders.
Right.
But everybody's like, wow, you're so good. We're going to take you to the tournament.
It's like the Northwestern Kung Fu Championships or something like that, I think it's called.
Yeah, you're just going to enter, and this is going to happen like the next day. Thank God the timing was so fortuitous.
Right.
Her aunts are like, hey, did you magic your way to this? And she's like, no. And they go, okay. And meanwhile, violin happens, but it's not really relevant.
This is Sabrina's story, so we'll focus on that.
Well, it's relevant to the theme in that her aunt doesn't use magic to win.
And also doesn't
despite wanting to, and then doesn't win. And then Sabrina does use magic to win and then wins. So Sabrina goes to this tournament, activates magic powers, beats everybody, including
Tai Wai Tse,
a.k.a. Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa, who is like a guy who did movies.
In universe, he does martial arts movies as a different...
In universe, he's Johnny Cage.
In universe, he's Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa with a different name.
Right, yeah. And he's like, dang, okay, go off. But the trophy that she wins, despite the fact that it goes up past her knee, is alive.
Yeah.
The trophy's alive.
Yeah, more or less.
The trophy can talk, and it's calling her a cheater. And,
right. It's a manifestation of her guilty conscience. All right. This is a deep show.
Her moms are like, hey, you could choose to clear your conscience or not. Ball's in your court. Hey, do you want this clock? And it says right and wrong on it. And when she picks up the clock, it says wrong. So she's currently in the wrong. Ultimately decides to challenge Tai Wai Tse to a rematch, but trained for real this time. Loses instantly.
Right.
And feels better about it. And everybody learned a valuable lesson about not cheating.
Yeah, more or less. More or less. Not moralless. But it is kind of moralless. That's about it, right?
That's it.
That's the show.
The entire process could be dwindled down into a single sentence, which is Sabrina the Teenage Witch learns that cheating is bad by cheating and proceeding to feeling bad.
Right. Okay. Want to go over to the Neal Nook?
It's been a while. I don't know if I remember how. Ah, what is that?
Welcome to the Neal Nook.
It's Gucci.
Just use magic and zap yourself over here.
Did you not hear me scream?
No.
What? Oh, dude, you're in for a treat. Like,
all right.
The sounder started, and I just went, what is that? But like louder and like more frenzied than that.
Nice. So, first, just a little bit of background on Sabrina the Teenage Witch as a property, right?
Right.
The character of Sabrina debuted in 1962, Archie? I believe, in an some Archie book.
Was she a witch right away?
She was, yes.
Okay, that's crazy.
The character was created by George Gladier and like legendary Archie artist Dan DeCarlo. And I say legendary because Dan DeCarlo is the reason that all of the old Archie books look the way they do, because he set a standard that then all other artists drew to his design standard.
His specifications.
And it became known as like the Archie house style, like that classic Archie look is Dan DeCarlo's invention. Beyond doing Archie books, I think he also drew for like Marvel, like Millie the Model probably, and did a bunch of just like pinups and stuff like that back in the 60s and earlier, I believe.
He's definitely got like a pinup vibe
yes,
to his work, which it does make it kind of fascinating that he Archie is such a family-friendly property.
Right. But
the art's like not salacious, but you can just see roots.
You can see the roots, and those roots are definitely what grabbed my attention as a young boy. I will admit that. Yeah, there is something interesting about the style, and mostly like it just keeps it. You know, obviously they do different art styles on the current books and the horror books and all of those titles, but the classic Archie does still have this like classic early American comics vibe to it, which I'm into it. So there were cartoons based off of Sabrina and Archie and the Archies and Josie and the Pussycats like in the 70s, but it wasn't until I believe 1995 there was a made-for-TV movie called Sabrina the Teenage Witch starring Melissa Joan Hart that is not related to the show. It was just like a ABC like movie of the week kind of deal, and also featured a young Ryan Reynolds.
Interesting. From
the success of that, or just because they had the property, they had the rights to the property. Neal Scoville created Sabrina the Teenage Witch for television. Neal Scoville, kind of a big name in TV because she wrote for The Simpsons very early on. She was part of the Simpsons team. She was also a big part of the Mystery Science Theater 3000 team. She's just like just one of those like comedy writers, you know, that's just written for a bunch of stuff. Space Ghost Coast to Coast, the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour in 1988, like classic comedy writer, right?
Right.
And she developed this concept for television for just like a sitcom model. The interesting thing you mentioned about the camera going into action camera mode, that is something that they did early on, I think mostly in season 1, where certain parts of this were shot like a traditional multicam sitcom, but then other scenes like in the hallways and stuff were shot like handheld, like a single cam, you know? Just this weird style of TV show making.
Yeah, it's just been brought to my attention that Melissa Joan Hart was in God's Not Dead too.
Yeah, we don't need to talk a lot about, because we're getting into Kevin Sorbo territory there, and we have a rule in this podcast.
Are we?
No Kevin Sorbo. Wasn't he in the first one or the third one?
Oh, yeah, he was in the first one. Yeah. So that's all you mean by Kevin Sorbo territory, just to be clear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is what Kevin Sorbo territory is.
Right. No, but I thought you were I thought you were saying that like Melissa Joan Hart is Kevin Sorboing us.
I don't think that she is. We can talk about that a little bit. I do believe
it seems like she mostly currently does Christmas movies.
In the 2000s, I do think that she was conservative Republican. She doesn't seem to be public with that stuff now. The last thing I had read is that she was a libertarian, but
tough.
I know. It's
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm getting to the bottom of this one, don't you worry. Oh wow. I'm just gonna tell you, this doesn't need to say, but I'm just gonna tell you something interesting.
Okay.
Not only is she extremely Gary Johnson pilled, who again, there are worse options. She joined his campaign in 2016.
Okay.
She was like the chairperson for the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
for Gary Johnson.
Holy smokes!
So she's committed to the cause.
She picked her. I don't know.
Look, I'm not even saying that's like bad. Again, you could pick so much worse.
You could. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you don't need to keep that in. I was just sort of gobsmacked by the whole God's Not Dead 2 thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she's doing all right. Well, let's run through the cast then. We've got Melissa Joan Hart as Sabrina Spellman. Clarissa Explains It All on Nickelodeon was like a foundational show for a lot of people my age, but not me because I didn't grow up with cable. It's just the kind of thing I heard about all the time. She had one little step into like the 90s teen comedy drama movies with Drive Me Crazy, which I think co-stars the guy from Entourage. And she had a very small role in the greatest 90s teen comedy movie ever made, Can't Hardly Wait. She had another sitcom with called Melissa and Joey with, what's his face? Joey Lawrence, right? She had that running for a while.
Who is that?
He's a guy, another 90s actor. I think he was on Blossom.
I don't know who
all of this stuff.
Well,
all of this stuff existed before you were born. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but like, I want to see if I know who it is. I want to see if I know who this guy is. So just really quick, not to interrupt you, but I've Googled Joey Lawrence, okay?
Yeah.
Melissa and Joey had never heard of it. Blossom, never heard of it. Brotherly Love, never heard of it. I have heard of Dancing with the Stars. Give Me a Break, no idea. Half and Half, no idea. Celebrity Big Brother, that's cheating.
Yeah, because he's not a celebrity.
American Dreams, no. Splash, no. The John LaRoquette Show, no. Run of the House, no. Oh, okay, we got some. Folks, we've got some hitters. He was on Recess. It's been brought to my attention.
He did a voice on Recess?
Oh, I'm going to find out. And also The Emperor's New School. So
Nice.
let's see what we're looking at here. Characters on Recess. Okay, great. Show me Joey Lawrence. Was he a regular or not?
I think his whole thing was he would say, "Whoa."
It does not. Mr. Dudikoff.
Mr. Dude. I remember that name from that show. He was like a substitute or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's connection number 1. Connection number 2, The Emperor's New School.
Uh-huh.
Good reboot. I remember liking that show. Had John Goodman. Where is Joey Lawrence on this list of names?
Yeah.
There's too many names. He's not here.
I don't think
not a big enough role. And that thus concludes our
we're good. All right.
Joey Lawrence segment.
So then we've got Caroline Rhea as Hilda Spellman. Caroline Rhea, a stand-up comedian, very famous, popular in the 80s and 90s. I think she had her own TV show at one point, like a talk show kind of deal. I think she also does a lot of voiceover work. And she had a cameo as Hilda Spellman in some episode of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina season 3 that I didn't watch. I guess they did some kind of like a metaverse crossover.
It was the same character?
I don't know the context because I haven't seen it, but she's listed on that show as Hilda Spellman, right?
Oh.
For 2 episodes.
I will say I have her. I do know who she is.
Okay.
This person I am aware of.
Also, 2 episodes of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as Zelda Spellman is Beth Broderick.
I don't know who this is.
Well, here's a little bit about Beth. Boy, that's a lot of B's. She also has done a lot of Christmas movies lately. Now, the thing that I had always heard about her was that she got her career start doing lesbian adult films.
Okay.
And I don't think that that's entirely true. It does seem like she did a handful of Chuck Vincent movies, which were like mid-80s, like sex romp comedies that often did star adult stars. I think primarily Veronica Hart was in a lot of his movies. But I don't think that these were like outright like pornographic. I think it was more like Porky's knockoffs. You know what I mean?
Right.
None of them, I haven't seen any of them, but I did find a description for one that Beth Broderick was in that I want to just tell you about, so you know the kind of movie we're dealing with here.
Yeah, no problem.
It is called Young Nurses in Love. So it's got that sexploitation style title, right? Here's the log line for this, the tagline. The tagline's not right. You know what I'm saying. Here's the log line. Russian agents raid an American sperm bank in order to get the sperm of geniuses Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein to take back to Russia with them.
Right.
You want to watch that for the podcast?
I don't even have a good joke for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hard joke to invent.
Anyway, Beth Broderick did a lot of other. I mean, she had a lot of like comedy. I mean, she was a comedic actor back then. Like those were billed as comedy movies. She had roles on other TV shows. Murphy Brown, for instance, Married with Children. And was she in Bonfire and the Vanities? Let's assume she was and move on. So that's Beth Broderick. That's Zelda Spellman. And they are Sabrina's aunts, and she has to live with her aunts because she is a half mortal, right? So she's only half witch. Now, here's a little bit of lore dump for you, Corey. Her dad is a full witch, and in this universe, male witches are called witches. It's not like warlock or any of that lame shit or wizard, right? We're not talking Harry Potter nonsense.
Okay.
Witches are witches. You know, all genders are witches. And her mother is a mortal. And because she's now turned 16 and she's starting to develop her magical powers, if she sets eyes on her mother for the next 2 years, her mother will turn into a ball of wax.
Classic conundrum.
That is the in-universe reason why she doesn't live with her mom, because if she does, her mom will essentially die. And this is the witch world's like deterrent to keep witches from marrying mortals. Like that's the reason they do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
There is something to this show of just like they don't spend a lot of time worrying about if the stuff makes sense or not.
It doesn't really matter.
They're like, it's funny this way, right?
Right.
All right. So next up, we've got Nate Richard as Harvey Kinkle, the boyfriend, love interest of Sabrina Spellman. He did Sabrina the Teenage Witch and a few other acting roles. Not a whole lot of stuff. I believe this was his first acting role. Yes, it is. And then he's done a handful of things since then. He was in 6 of the 7 seasons of this show. They wrote him out once Sabrina went off to college, but then they brought him back, I think, for the last 2 seasons. And spoiler alert for the series, they do end up together in the end, thank God. We've got Nick Bakay as Salem Saberhagen. He is the talking cat that you may have seen, Corey, in the show.
I did. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. No, I went to go talk and then I needed to clear my throat. Yeah, no, boy, did I. Yeah, did
Yes.
I ever see the cat? The cat just look, we have to talk about this now.
Yeah.
I had seen this show before, just to be clear.
Uh-huh.
Like that's over in various points of my life. I thought I was familiar with this cat, right?
Right.
This cat looks so fucking stuffed, dude. This cat looks so fucked up. This cat looks
Sure.
like it like barely survived a house fire. Like it is made of plastic.
You're talking
Like,
specifically about the cat puppet, the animatronic, right?
yeah, of course.
Because they do use several real cats in addition to the animatronic.
Yeah, I'm talking about the cat that talks.
The season 1 animatronic, pretty rough. They did get
Oh my god, it's so fucking scuffed, dude.
they did get a better animatronic for later seasons, but this first one, yeah, it's like a Halloween decoration that got like forgotten about in the garage. Like it didn't get packed up real well.
Right.
And then you go to pull it out like 3 years later, like, oh, you know, we should get the good decorations out this year. And it's like the garage has flooded in the meantime.
Right.
Yeah, man. Anyway, the cat is voiced by Nick Bakay, who is a writer. He was a writer on the show. He is a writer on Young Sheldon. He wrote Paul Blart Mall Cop and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. This guy voicing this cat wrote the Paul Blart movies. And
yeah, of course, you know, right? Like,
yeah, worked on King of Queens. I'm just saying, there's like a comedy pedigree to most of this cast.
I just think it's funny that the Paul Blart guy is here.
We talked about Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa quite a bit prior to the Corey Corner. So the last character I want to talk about here is the man who plays Eugene Poole, Mr. Poole, which is Paul Feig.
What?
Director of...
Motherfucking excuse me, dude? What the fuck did you just say, Neal?
Yeah, that's Paul. That is Paul Feig.
What the fuck? It is?
Yeah.
That's I have to look at his face again, I guess.
Directed 15 episodes of The Office. Directed Spy, right? The Heat.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the man and his sort of lineage.
That Ghostbusters movie that people were mad about for some shitty reason. Like, it's a Ghostbusters movie. Everyone needs to relax.
Bro, what?
Yeah, that's Paul fucking Feig.
Well,
Paul Feig, again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We're talking Freaks and Geeks, right? He produced that. I think he created it. I'm not sure. Yeah, But again, this is what I'm saying. Like, we got Paul Feig, we've got Nick Bakay, Caroline Ray, like we've got this Nell Scoville, we've got this. It's like a bunch of like comedy people making this show, right? Like people who have gone on to have other careers. It's really, I think that's part of what's so fucking fascinating about the show to me, is that Paul Feig was just in season 1 of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as the biology teacher.
Wow, yeah, that's really something.
There's 2 characters that I'll touch on. They weren't in this episode, but Jenna Lee Green plays Libby Chesler normally, who is like the bully, the popular girl who calls Sabrina a freak all the time and is like trying to get Harvey to date her instead. And then there's Michelle Boudouin, I believe, who plays Jenny, typically Sabrina's friend in the first season, who was also in the made-for-TV movie as a different character. And she only lasted season 1, then she moved on. And there were like radical casting changes season to season on this show.
That's weird.
Yeah, but they are regulars in season 1, those 2. Oh, I guess we should talk about the rival violin player, Hilda's rival violin player, Gustav, played by a man named Robert Dorfman, and the trophy that is talking shit to Sabrina is played by Vian Hong, who was additional crew in X-Men Days of Future Past.
Okay.
He's in a bunch of things here. He was in Jag, the TV movie version of Children of the Corn.
That narrows it down.
Blue Bloods.
There's so many Children of the Corn.
And then he's additional crew for a bunch of stuff, including there we go. He's an ADR voice actor now for a lot of. He just does ADR for things. It seems. The RoboCop remake, X-Men Days of Future Past, Bad Times at the El Royale, Dead Presidents from 1995. That's kind of sick. That's like the entire cast. We've talked about every single actor that appears in this episode now, and 2 that don't.
We can choose to talk about actors just whenever.
We can. I want to get your read. How was your experience watching this episode?
In what sense?
Did you find this to be an enjoyable way to spend 22 minutes?
I paused a lot to write stuff down, so it took me longer than 22 minutes. Maybe I should have just sat and watched it. It felt so light of touch as to be borderline superfluous.
You've just that's a lot of these early episodes.
Like, it was just sort of like, okay, this 17-year-old needs to learn why cheating is wrong. So we're just going to hop around and like very briefly and briskly sort of establish the plot, a little bit of conflict, how she may or may not solve that and solve it. But it's like everything going from like deciding that maybe she did the wrong thing to talking to Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa to the episode ending felt like it took 35 seconds. And I know that's not true, but it's just like, it's very like, it's like eating like saltines.
Oh, for me, it's like eating like a Twinkie, right?
Right.
Just so did you make the saltines comparison? Are you saying you find the show bland? Found the episode bland? You can be honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No, it's like, but what I'm realizing is maybe I didn't find it bland because it's like some of it's weird. Like I don't know.
Right.
It's a little. They do almost drop an animated anvil on somebody's head, so it's like you gotta give them that. They're making some interesting choices. Sure. Yeah, maybe saltines wasn't quite right, but is that like it's like it's sort of like eating nothing was more like what I meant. Like,
dare you? No, I'm just pretending to be mad.
Oh, I was like, and I didn't think you remember. It's just more just like it's just very like here's the thing.
Yeah,
you can watch it, and I'm not even saying that that's necessarily bad. But
no, I don't think that the show is trying to be anything more than something entertaining to watch on a Friday night when you're a young kid, because this was part of the TGIF block. The fuck is TGFI? It's part of the TGIF block on ABC.
It's an AFI cover band.
Right. That's the people who made the mutagen for the Ninja Turtles. That's TCRI. Okay.
I didn't know that, so thank you for then saying that, because I would never, ever, 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 just ever know that. There's a genuine 0% chance that I've ever heard that information before.
Okay. Well, I'm a Turtles guy. God, I'm an everything guy, aren't I? Fuck. I need to get rid of some of these interests, some of these specific interests. I gotta shed some of these things, man. I can't be a Mortal Kombat guy and an Alien guy and a Sabrina guy and a Ninja Turtles guy. Like, something's got to give. This is just me having a crisis on the podcast. That's absolutely going to stay in.
That's the podcast.
Yeah, and I've never seen Avatar.
That's the thing that people are going to want to crucify you for, I think.
Probably. This episode's kind of racist, isn't it?
I'm not going to lie, Neal.
Yeah.
It's less racist than I would have expected based on how we talked about it before I saw it. Because the name is bad. We've established that over years. Right. That said, Tai Wai Tse himself, not really a caricature.
No, he wasn't at all.
Just sort of a guy.
Just an actor.
They're just using Kung Fu as the butt of jokes, which is obviously, probably not amazing.
Yeah.
But I was ready for it to be a lot more explicit, like with a name like Sweet and Sour Victory, because oh my God.
Right.
And for the record, I get why they went with that, because it's both Asian and they felt like being generically Asian, but also like it felt good, but also it felt bad. It's like it's this, but it's that. It's like, okay, I see what you're doing. But
complex.
With a name like series. That, I was ready for this to be way more explicitly racist than it is. And however, it is worth acknowledging that Paul Feig is the guy that teaches karate, and they're playing like generic new age music, and they just make fun of that as being generically Asian.
Right. They didn't really seem to be. I don't know. Maybe Paul Feig does know Kung Fu in real life, but in this, they were
Alexa, does Kung Fu know karate? Thank you.
Did you say that way on purpose? Or
yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean? Did I say it that way on purpose?
You said, Alexa, does Kung Fu know karate?
Wait, did I?
Yes. That's why I'm fucking laughing so hard.
No, I didn't. No.
Yes, you did. You'll hear it. I'll cut it. I'll clip it out for you.
No, keep it in. That's so funny.
No, just so you can hear it. I'm going to send it to you later.
I thought I said, does Paul Feig know karate? Which still would have been wrong, but that's what I thought I said. There's no. Did I?
You absolutely did. Fuck.
Hey Siri, does Paul Feig know Kung Fu? Thank you.
I'm not getting any immediate results from a Google search.
Oh wow, dude.
But
that owns so hard. I didn't even notice. Like in my head, I never would have even known. If you didn't say anything, we just would have kept going.
Fuck.
Oh wow, man! Oh man.
Anyway, yeah, and they don't seem to be like serious about the kung fu of it all, right?
They're not even remotely.
Not even a little bit. You've got, and that's. I'm not saying that that's racist. Let's be clear. The part that seemed racist, the most racist to me, was when she's trying to like trash talk Tai Wai Tse at the beginning of their match at the tournament.
Yeah. And
she's quoting lines to him like as if it's a bad kung fu dub, right? That's the part.
I assumed she was quoting a movie that he was in, because they established that he's been in movies.
She says that she is, but she's still doing it with like that like stilted sort of delivery as if it's an overdub.
Yeah, she's talking. She's speaking like Speed Racer.
Right. It's that, and then it's the fact that she calls him Tiger Balm. Like, that was
just
like
an overtly racist thing to say.
Yeah, that is like, all right, that, boy, yeah. Those things are weird. Product of its time, etc. Right, 1996. Sure. Watching it in 2023, those things definitely jump out. And there are other things in this series that do that as well, for sure. Right. I think it's just important to be critical of those things, even if it is a show that I overall do enjoy just watching. And by watching, I mean having on, not sitting down and watching. I'm not binging this like it's Breaking Bad or some shit, right? But this is a show that goes on in the background. A shocking amount of time, I think, for like more than people would expect.
It is kind of funny when Paul Feig wants to do the river and the rock thing.
Yes.
And is lamenting somebody's lack of foresight into how this would work as being Western thinking.
Western, yeah, because she's
That's
like,
a funny line.
Do you want to be the river of the rock or the rock? He's like, the rock, nothing can move a rock. And he's like,
also,
Western
like
thinking.
the most objectively wrong statement anyone's like ever said.
Yes.
I gotta say though, that bit just made me think of the bit from I Think You Should Leave.
Be like water.
The bit where they're in like the music studio and it's like Moon River Rock, Moon River Roll. It just made me think of that. Like,
I have such a hazy memory of that sketch. Was that season 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like he's in the studio and they're like, we're gonna make you a star, and then it's like
I just want to remind
the other guy's already
there.
a star. He's like, it's the palm tree girls love palm tree guys bit. It's the same sketch.
I can't give you more here because I haven't had Netflix in years at this point, which is also why I haven't finished Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, being such a Sabrina fan. I just don't have Netflix, and I'm not fucking paying their outrageous prices now. Are you fucking kidding me? I can watch this show on Paramount Plus, and it's like $4.99 a month. Why would I pay $20?
That's understandable.
Also, I have this on DVD. I can just watch it that way. Probably gonna cancel Paramount Plus now. I don't know what else to talk. I mean, there's stuff to talk about for sure.
This is a problem that we have on TMAO sometimes.
Well, I've got something I want to get to. I'm just trying to find a natural way. But tell me what your TMAO problem is.
Yeah, so sometimes the problem that we have...
Is it Mitch?
Yes.
Is it Liam?
Yes. Sometimes the problem that we end up having is, okay, we could keep talking about this thing, but what we're going to end up doing is reciting this thing.
Right.
Like just talking about bits of it without like really having like a strong feeling impetus to do that.
Yeah, well, I do.
This feels like one of those to me in that, and I'm not saying we have to stop, obviously, because I know you have a thing you want to get to.
I got a couple of them.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought, so never mind.
Okay, yeah, no worries. If you're done talking, I got some things.
I'm not necessarily done. I'm just like, do I need to be the person who goes, it was funny when ant number 1 almost dropped an animated anvil on a guy's head? Or why is it that they live in a world where witches are real and no one is supposed to know that, but you can make a guy vanish in a puff of smoke at a fucking concert and just take his job? That's a fun bit.
Yeah, that was a fun bit. That was the tag, the episode tag, right?
Also, man, this show is really getting the most out of its fucking smoke machine budget.
Brother, I do want to talk about the special effects. I can't believe I said brother. I'm trying not to do that.
Hey, bro. Hey. I don't know why I just said that so many times. I was trying to think of something else to say.
Just got stuck on a loop there, buddy.
Hey, bro. What's up? Do you want to go? Do you want to go to the meat gym and start like fucking fighting the fucking weights, bro? Hey, man. Hey, brother. Hey, son. Hey, father. Hey, dad. Do you want to? Dad, do you want to talk? Dad, please. Dad, can we? Dad. Sorry, what?
Hey, brother. Fuck you.
Sorry.
I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about the way that they use magic, because this show very obviously has like a shoestring fucking budget.
It is weirdly like low budge.
It really is, and like you can tell, like there's no way this was filmed. There's a laugh track. It is 100% canned laughter. There was no live audience for this. And the reason I know that there's no live audience for this is because there are other episodes where they forget to put the laugh track in where they should. There are, like, where people will make jokes and there will just be nothing. And it will have been a joke moment, but nothing. I don't think any of those happen in this episode in particular, but this is a show that is simulating a sitcom, like in a traditional sense, but isn't actually one, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think it's because they had to put a lot of money into like the post.
I think they
special effects work.
Do they have a Mortal Kombat Conquest problem where you can tell when they've chosen to put all of the money into the effects and when money had to go somewhere else? I think they do.
Yes, for sure. Because sometimes there's some pretty impressive gags. Like there's a lot of people turning into objects or being shrunk down and put into jars and stuff like that. There's a lot of that in the show for some reason.
That's a fetish that one of the writers has.
Probably. There's a baby that turns into a grown man but is still a baby in his head. Like there's
Benjamin Button's disease.
Yeah.
Reverse. I guess no. That's just aging. That's a reverse Benjamin Button's disease.
We are talking again about the reverse, early onset reverse Benjamin Button's disease.
Why is it that when we sit down to record a podcast, there's like a 1 in 3 chance I'm about to say a series of the stupidest things I've ever said in my life?
Well, early onset Benjamin Button's disease came up on this podcast in the early days.
I know, but that was on purpose, and this was by accident. I said kung fu no karate earlier.
I thought just now you were doing a callback to old
No,
MK
I'm
Podquest.
just a fucking idiot, dude. I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about shit, my guy.
Sometimes the special effects looks really good. Sometimes they look really, really bad. Sometimes it's just like these superimposed, like the anvil on the guy, or like when she's gonna like slam the door on his hands and then she doesn't.
That was cute, though. Those are cute bits.
This is Aunt Hilda talking to Gustav, her violin rival, because she's trying to get first chair for a symphony.
I have a very important question. Is she an established violinist throughout the rest of the show?
Okay, so in the early seasons...
Is Gustav a consistent rival of hers? Because she does tousle his hair like old-time friends might, you know?
I believe
I think they've got history, math, science, history, unraveling and et cetera.
Young Sheldon, written by Nick Bakay. Robert Dorfman, the actor, I'm looking at his IMDb. He is on Boardwalk Empire. Or was on Boardwalk Empire. I'm trying to see if he's done more. Oh, shit. We have a Silk Stockings connection. Hell yeah.
I feel like it's more notable when we don't.
This is the only episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but I do feel like she had other music rivals. So here's the aunt's jobs, right? Hilda is a professional violin player and also teaches violin lessons, right? Mostly to kids. And Zelda Spellman, right? A witch, is like a published scientist, chemist, like world recognized, going for a Nobel Peace Prize in science. Like that's her gig. And then later seasons, I think Hilda buys a coffee shop, and then they buy a clock shop that has a magic clock that keeps bringing people from the past into their store. So like this stuff changes, you know?
Right.
But yeah, those are their jobs, at least for like the first 4 seasons, I want to say. They took less of a role in the later seasons as like Sabrina went off to college and stuff. And eventually they did both agree like that they just wanted to leave the show with maybe 2 seasons left, because they were like, I mean, Sabrina doesn't even live here anymore. Like, we got other projects to do, you know?
That's understandable.
A lot of speed ramping in the kung fu fights, right? A lot of,
the fights are shot better than you might anticipate, given the show that we're dealing with.
Except it's so obvious that somebody else is standing in for Cary Tagawa most of the time.
So here's the thing. That's what I thought was interesting, right?
Yeah.
So you've ostensibly got this guy because he's got some like pedigree, right?
Right.
And then in the wide, it's just very transparently not him or her, but more importantly, not him. And it's like, okay, then to what end did we do this other than he's got a cool on-screen presence? Obviously, I agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to look in here because he doesn't ever lead with martial artists, right? Like martial arts. Okay, so he has martial arts.
Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm the asshole.
He says he began his martial arts training with kendo when he was in junior high school, and in 21 he began training in traditional Japanese karate at University of Southern California. I think he has, but I don't think he's not like
He's not like, hey, I'm the martial artist you ordered.
He's not Kenneth Edwards. He's not Chris Casamassa. He's not these guys who have dedicated their life to martial art.
Right. So maybe that's why. And that's understandable.
He has martial arts training. I mean, he's a lifelong practitioner. In the 80s, he founded a hybrid of martial arts and healing called Chu Shin, referred to as martial alchemy. That sounds dope as fuck.
He founded something called martial alchemy?
Yeah, dude. Okay.
How have we not learned that before?
We're learning a lot today. In fact, we're cutting out the rest of the podcast and just talking
reading
about
his Wikipedia page.
Well, this is his IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
But you know, he doesn't lead with martial arts. Like, he can do it, I think, and obviously he studied it, but it's not his. Like, I think his true passion is acting, which is probably why he does
in the episode
roles.
He says he wants to be the dad in a phone commercial and not the guy who's gonna kick your ass.
I love that when he's in his office with that purple 6-panel door.
His big nice
like
office.
Offices have.
Yeah, his big office that's clearly not like a room in a house.
He's on the phone and he's like, I'm just tired of being the bad guy in the Kung Fu movie. I just want to be a dad in a phone commercial. I thought that was really fucking funny and like felt kind of meta, right? Because he was the bad guy in Mortal Kombat. He was the bad guy in Raven. He was the bad guy in Showdown in Little Tokyo. Like, he has a history of being the bad guy in the martial arts thing, right?
Right.
So I thought that was a clever little like tongue-in-cheek reference to the rest of his career.
I agree.
What was also interesting is like I've seen a bunch of movies with him, and in this it seemed like he's not speaking like he does in movies. Like, obviously he's hamming it up as Shang Tsung, right?
Right.
In this, he's just like he's
just a dude.
I can't take that trophy. I didn't earn it. Do you think that's how he talks in everyday life?
Probably.
Or do you think he was acting in this role? Like,
well, he was definitely acting because his name isn't Tai Wai Tse.
No, you know what I mean. Like,
so
do you think he was
I think we can rule that one out.
Well, like, was he being natural in this, or was he playing a character?
I don't know.
What I'm saying.
We'll have to interview him and ask.
Cary, you follow us on the gram. We're going to tag you in something when this goes up. Come on the podcast. Please, honestly, we would love to talk to you.
For the love of God and Christ, dude. I will become a practitioner of
martial alchemy.
Martial alchemy. Thank you so much. Because I was about to say something that wasn't that, and it would have been really embarrassing. Alexa, what's martial alchemy? Alexa, what's kung fu alchemy?
All right. Yeah, mostly the reason I wanted to talk about this, I know that he's in this, but just also because it's such a departure.
He's barely in this too, which is the funny part.
But it's such a departure from the other roles I've seen him in for the most part. Like, he's done, like, he did, again, he was in Balls of Fury, right? So he's done comedy. But yeah, this was just so the opposite of Shang Tsung, right? I don't know. It was just, and I thought he was good in it too. Like, and he was like there to teach her like a fucking lesson, because she just shows up to give him the trophy. She's like, I don't deserve this. It's yours. And he's like, I haven't won this trophy. Like, I'll rematch you, and if I win, I'll take the trophy. You know, he's got that whole like, it needs to be earned, right? He's the one, and he kind of helps instill that lesson in her also. But he also just like thank God in that final, like that rematch match where she had the training montage with Paul Feig and obviously didn't learn anything. Yeah. Thank God he doesn't just like, how did he know not to fight her with everything he had because she beat him last time? Like, how did he not immediately throw her through the wall, right?
Maybe he just had a vibe.
It could have gone fucking bad. But like, yeah, thank God he just knew. He just stood there and she like tries to punch him and he doesn't even like feel it. And then he just like pats her on the head and takes the trophy. He kind of does the hair tossle thing, right?
Well, he does say it was the first tiny blonde girl that had ever beat him in a fight. So maybe he just had a feeling.
Oh, so does that imply that he's fought other tiny blonde girls and just absolutely wiped the floor with them? Because that's
yes,
troubling.
No, yeah, that's what he does when he's not like at work. Do you remember the Death Club fight pit from? Of course you do. Sure. From Mortal Kombat Conquest, yeah.
Yeah.
He does that. He does one of
carnival.
those. Yeah, he does one of those.
The festival.
He does one of those.
In real life.
Cary-Hiroyuki Tagawa, does one of
hosts those. Underground, and if you lose your soul. Also, I guess we have seen him prior to this fight. Did he fight Sonya Blade? He didn't even fight Sonya Blade in the Mortal Kombat movie. So I guess that's the only other blonde that I know he's fought. Blonde woman I know he's fought. So I guess Sabrina is the first. Sabrina did what Sonya Blade couldn't.
Yeah. I was looking at my notes trying to find like any other thing I could say.
Here's another interesting detail. Cary Tagawa was a part-time masseur for the University of Hawaii football team.
He was a what?
He massaged injured players for the University of Hawaii football team.
Okay, say that word you said again.
Masseur.
What the fuck is masseur?
It's I guess the masculine of masseuse.
Oh my god, that's stupid. Just say masseuse or like massage therapist. We don't need to do masseur.
Take it up with IMDb trivia.
We don't live in France. Like, we don't need to do this. Like, I live in a country where French is literally one of the official languages, and we're not doing that shit here.
Take it. This is on IMDb. Take it up with Bezos.
I do have a note that just says, enjoying the music. What?
Sorry, I'm interrupting for this. Under quotes on his IMDb page, Cary Tagawa's IMDb page, it says, "My look is Polynesian. Asian. Part Polynesian native, part Asian warrior." This is a quote from him. I just laughed at Polynesian.
It's a good term.
Again, his words, not mine, everybody.
I have a note that says, enjoying the music for the training montage. And the editing choices they're making are pretty nuts. And it's just on a residential street. It's giving Raven. And then I realized that the electric guitar, the constant soloing electric guitar makes it more like Raven, but I liked the music more before the 800 electric guitars came in.
Man, Sabrina the Teenage Witch gives good Raven. Shit, that's something I wanted to talk about. Fuck. We have to rewind. We'll pretend we're still in the Neal Nook, okay?
Okay.
Welcome to the Neal Nook.
This episode was directed by Robbie Benson. Do you recognize the name Robbie Benson? God,
Not
I can't believe I didn't bring this up
immediately.
Oh.
Should I?
Have you seen a little Disney animated movie called Beauty and the Beast?
Not recently.
Because he's the Beast.
Oh, I never would have known that.
And he's the Beast in the Kingdom Hearts games. More classic MK Podquest references. Fuck. It's just I'm so thrown off that
Sora
I forgot.
in Mortal Kombat.
I'm so thrown off that I forgot to bring this up. Yeah, Robbie fucking Benson he's directed a bunch of stuff. He directed this episode. He's just the voice of the Beast in like, Disney's The Beast and in all the Kingdom Hearts games. I just find that fucking wild. I don't know what triggered that memory for me just now, but I'm glad I squeezed it in before we end this episode. And on that note, I think I'm good to end this episode.
Okay.
Would you recommend anybody else watch this episode or any Sabrina the Teenage Witch in general? I guess more specifically, are you interested in checking out any more of this?
For the podcast or in my own life?
I'm just, I guess either. I'm not putting you on this. I don't think we're going to do like another Sabrina. There's no reason to do like another Sabrina episode for this podcast.
If it was for the podcast, I would watch it. If you're asking me if I'm never just going to put it on, no.
Not based on this episode, this specific season 1.
And also just my general lack of interest in wanting to do that.
Okay.
This did not win me over. Also
fair. I will say, as someone who has watched I've got
YouTube videos to rewatch again.
It's been a minute since you've checked in with the Rush Hour 2 bloopers, right?
That's what I'm saying.
As someone who has watched this show several times and just sort of spent the morning with this show on, I don't think that this is a strong representation of the series, and watching this one ain't going to win you over. This show isn't for everybody, but for me, it is the right amount of, it has enough talent in it and associated with it, and enough charm and creativity to keep me interested, right? Plus, love an Archie comic, and this is based on an Archie comic, so there you go. Next episode of the podcast, we will be watching Chuck Vincent's film Slammer Girls, starring Beth Broderick and Veronica Hart.
It's true.
We're not watching that, don't worry.
It's true.
Both are true and false until the next episode comes out and you see what we're covering. This is Schrodinger's podcast. Big Bang Theory. Corey, what do you got going on?
It's a good question. Same thing every week. Strat 2 is going to come back eventually, but it's been a long time since we've been able to record it for various reasons, and we still have not been able to do that. So that's kind of a non-entity for the plugs for now. But they made another one, still kicking. As ever, Liam, Mitch, myself, sequels, reboots, remakes, movies. You know them, you love them. If you go to Mortal Kombat Conquest.ca, it's all there.
It's all there. You can find it there.
It's all there.
And you can also find over there my other podcast, Crew Expendable, all about the Alien franchise. I do that with our friend Kenny. Check it out. It's a good show. We do fully produced and sound designed skits to open the episodes now.
Every time?
Every episode.
That's a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that extra work is inherently bad. I'm just saying...
But also, it's really fun, and they're really stupid, and everyone should go check them out. Just grab any of the episodes, like recent episodes. I'd say post, I don't even know. I'd say starting with our Aliens Outbreak episodes. I think we started with them there. Just listen to the first couple of minutes, and then turn it off if you want. I don't care. Crewexpendable.net.
We're waiting for the Johnson Thistle cameo.
It's coming. Find the show, mkpodquest.com, Twitter and Instagram at mkpodquest. We've got a coffee page, ko-fi.com/mkpodquest if you want to give us some money. There's a shop. We got some t-shirt designs, some new stuff coming soon there, most likely. You can find that on our website, mkpodquest.com. And, I don't know, rate us, review us, subscribe to the show, all that stuff.
Right.
Oh, one little plug here for a podcast that is no longer ongoing. If you do want more Sabrina, there is a podcast out there called Sabrina the Teenage Watch, where they watch and break down the first 4 seasons of this series, because it does get kind of crappy after season 4.
It's a cowardly move, by the way.
Yeah,
our stamp is me saying that's cowardly.
But yeah, it's a very fun and funny show. It's 3 English gents talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So go find that in your podcast app also, and tell them MK Podquest sent you. Until next time, Mortal Kombat.
Bye.